For those who have had the pleasure of walking into toy traders and seeing their breathtaking vintage museum-style displays and endless inventory of toys, you'll know exactly what I'm here to talk about. And for those who haven't, I can only hope that this video does a shred of justice to their real-life experience. Located in Langley along the west coast of British Columbia, simply walking into the 17,000 square foot store is an immediate eye-opener. You'll be surrounded wall-to-wall and floor-to-ceiling by toys spanning the many decades of pop culture and representing all your favorite franchises. The sales inventory itself is located on the aisles that are accessible to all, while the vintage displays hang above the inventory aisles for us to stare at in awe. For the purpose of this video, I will be touring the monumental-sized vintage G.I. Joe A Real American Hero display that hangs on their back wall, and with that, let's take a closer look. I'd like to give thanks to Matthew and the Toy Trader staff for allowing collectors like myself the opportunity to walk in and take an extended look at their vintage setups that they clearly spent countless hours putting together. Let's start with a full overview walkthrough of this endless wall display to give you an idea, just to take in the sheer magnitude of what's all there between all the large playsets, as well as aircraft, land vehicles, and marine-based vehicles. You can see the extensive custom-made backdrops with the buildings in the background, a ton of Hiss Tanks and Stingers at the bottom here, with both the Joes and Cobra factions battling it out. Take note that I'm walking the entire time that I'm holding the camera, so when I say that this feels like a museum, I almost feel like that they really should just call it that. And now, as we slowly transition over to the mountain scene here, look at the impressive layout of the vehicles there, and I'll zoom in a little bit later on so you can have a better look. And now as we move over to the left here and slowly past the mountain scene, check out the Defiant over here on the far left side with the custom-made launching effects leading up to the Cobra aircraft up top there, and have a look at the boxes up there in the corner. And here you have the various Night Force vehicles surrounding and on top of the USS Flagg, as well as the Night Striker box, which is situated right behind the Night Striker vehicle itself. And here you've got a really great attack scene with the Rattlers battling various Sky Strikers, with the Rattlers of course shooting down towards the USS Flaggs that are on the sea level. And here's a closer look here at the blast effects. You can see here the various explosions of not just the USS Flagg, but also on the Sky Strikers themselves. Here's the Sky Strikers up top and hanging along the wall. And we've also got here a closer look at the various Rattlers and the Night Ravens up top. Here you've got the hanging row of Cobra Mambas, but also take note of the various boxes that are above there on the highest shelf in the back. And here's a close look at the city scene here, where you've got some vintage early years of the G.I. Joe vehicle tanks going up against some Cobra Hiss Tanks and other various Cobra vehicles. And here's a cool look, which I think is meant to be the 1987 aircraft that deployed the troops of Cobra to battle with the Joes around the Statue of Liberty. At least, I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say that I think that's what it's supposed to be. Now here's a slightly closer look at the Defiant, as well as the USS Flagg boxes, and if you see over on the right there, the huge mobile command center is somewhat dwarfed by the other two playsets next to it. But also panning over there, you'll see next to the mobile command center is the Rolling Thunder and the also very huge box of the Cobra Terror Drome. Now here's a look at the tower of Terror Dromes that Matthew has managed to put together. I'm going to assume they're not all complete because we're just looking at visuals here, but I have not asked the question. As for the most detailed looking Terror Drome here, I love the blast effects here where you've got the fire bat there launching out and the various moray vehicles around it. And here's a look at the two snake heads with the other fire bats that are launching out of it. Just look at that really cool detailed effect. And here's a closer look at one of them. This custom display could not have been easy to make. Now here's a look again at the other side of the city scene, and I just noticed the maggot vehicles that are along the top row there in what's meant to look like a stone background, I guess. And now I really like this mountain scene here because if you look on the right side, if you're a fan of the Action Force or the Z Force type stuff, you'll see their various vehicles there, in addition to the Rolling Thunder and the Thunderclap here amongst the various G.I. Joe vehicles at the bottom and on the right. Now this is very cool here where you've got the Rock Vipers attempting to scale the mountain. So here's a look at the Stingers, Hiss Tanks, and Asps up close. And upstairs he's also got his range of figures from 82 to 94, but I think that this could be a video on its own if I ever came back and you guys wanted me to do this. And back downstairs for one more very lengthy panoramic shot just for all you guys to take this in as best you can. And like I said, being here in person, there's no substitute, but I'm doing everything I can and the best I can to describe to you what I'm seeing here in person, visually here, because again, not everybody lives near the area or can get to the area, so I'm doing the best I can, and I know that the owner loves to share his collection with people, which is why he has it for display the way it is here. So if you're a fan, no matter where you are, hey, this is it. Personally, it's the best collection that I've ever seen in my life. And on that same note, he's got a really nice Star Wars display over here. It's not as extensive as the G.I. Joe wall, but Star Wars did have less vehicles and figures than G.I. Joe, so that's somewhat to be expected, but I could come back for a tour of that section as well if this video goes well and if you guys demand it. And with that, we'll cut the tour right here. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know. I can go back again sometime. Otherwise, I'll see you again soon, and we'll talk again about some more of my favorite toys. Take care.